What is good, guys? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to talk about what's going on with Tesla stock in the market very, very briefly. I'm going to talk about some important updates and what's going on with the charts and talk about something very, very big. But before I break anything down, all this information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am personally not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, the link down below, and deposit $100 into the account, you are guaranteed up to 5 free stocks. Anyways, the offer ends in just 13 days, so check it out before they run out. Now let's break down what's going on with the market. So on SPY, if you look at the last couple of days, it's very simple. We pumped and pumped, we gapped up and pumped, gapped up more and pumped, and we gapped up again and continued to pump like crazy. I was calling upside for November and we got the upside. However, I think the market is very overbought. Now, I don't think the market's done just yet with the pump, but I think that there's a little bit more upside left on SPY because it looks like on the daily and the 4-hour time frame that this thing is going to be approaching this 438 area. I think we could pump a little bit more. And I think that there's going to be tight resistance up here at this 438 zone that might finally cause the market to correct a little bit. But overall, I think the market's looking bullish for the end of the year. This is especially evident considering the fact that there's so many of these puts expiring. We had over 1 million puts expiring, and those market makers just did whatever they could to cause the opposite to happen for those puts. We had a 2.44 put to call ratio. And that led to the market just continuing to push. So moving forward, I just want to remind everyone that for next week, we have a lot of puts expiring. We have more puts than calls next Friday. Later on the 17th of November, we have a very high puts to call ratio and over 2.6 million puts expiring. More puts for December. Mid-December has 2.6 million. And then in January, we have another like 1.2 million. So we have millions and millions of puts expiring with very high puts to call ratios almost every other Friday. And that's very important because those market makers are just going to continue to cause pain. Now, despite how much pain they try to cause, they can't push the market up forever. It is not sustainable, and the market makers are not going to just keep it forever, kind of like pushing like this. So what's going to happen is, and this is what I'm anticipating, is the market's going to push a little bit more. We have a little bit more upside coming because this ended up being even stronger than what I was expecting. And we pumped insanely hard. This is what was very hard about predicting how high this would go. We went from 409 and we're currently at 436. And it's only been like 5 days. So SPY pumped like crazy. So it could keep going a little bit more, but I think that we're going to be looking for a temporary pullback before the market continues higher later on. And I still hold that same view, but we could see 438 on SPY first before we get the final like temporary top. And I think that that's going to affect Tesla. Now, Tesla is looking relatively weak right now. You can see Tesla got a little top right here before coming back down, and now it's just chopping around. The market topping and then getting a small pullback could cause Tesla to push up a little bit and then start pulling back just a bit in a very healthy fashion. And that's going to be, in my opinion, another buying opportunity because I believe Tesla is going to eventually fill a lot of these gaps to the upside over the next couple of weeks, next few months. I'm still bullish on Tesla. The daily is looking more bullish, but here's the thing about it. We have this gap up here. Tesla's going to fill this 240 gap soon over the next few weeks. Before that happens, we might see Tesla correct a little bit. A small little pullback could be coming to Tesla just like the market. I don't think that it's going to start immediately, but it may come, as soon as Monday, a little pop and drop. And then Tesla's going to find a bottom. This is not going to be a capitulation drop or some major crash. I'm just talking about a very, very healthy pullback to cool off some indicators. And then we're going to see Tesla bounce and continue higher as time goes on. This is something I've been saying for many, many months about Tesla since September. I was talking about this big rally in November, and so far it came. Now, another thing that could push the market higher on Monday might be Aapl, because Aapl is working to fill this gap up here. Aapl might fill its gap. That's basically very close to where we were yesterday, the gap that formed because of earnings. Aapl might push the market up a little bit higher before this thing starts to correct a bit, but then later on down the road, the market has more upside likely coming. The QQQ, I think that this thing could get very close to 370. The 4-hour time frame shows that we have some tight resistance up there, and I think that that's where it might get its rejection. It may start cooling off soon, so a little bit more upside before we see a very healthy pullback, and then the market's going to continue higher later on. Nvda looks like it has more upside. Let's actually switch over to Nvda real quick. So if you look at Nvda, Nvidia is still continuing to push very nicely. I think Nvidia has some relative strength to it as well. We're going to be watching this 450 support. So when we zoom out, you will see that Nvidia is on a nice uptrend. The daily looks more bullish, and the 1 hour time frame is showing this zone up here around this 460 area. I think Nvidia could get very close to that, especially because of this imbalance at 457. We could pop a little bit more on Nvidia before this thing starts to come down in a very healthy fashion. And I think that Nvidia is not done just yet. It's only barely starting to pull back just a tiny bit since the market opened. It's been pushing the entire time, just barely started cooling off now. So it still has more upside potential, a little bit more before we start to see a very, very healthy pullback phase. So that's what I'm anticipating for Nvidia, the QQQ, Apple, Tesla, and SPY. I think Tesla might pop a little bit. We could retest 222.5 or so and then start to slow down a bit. And I think that Tesla has a little downside coming. It's going to cool off its indicators with the market just temporarily before we see upside later on for the medium term. All right, guys, so that's my view. Short term downside could be coming for Tesla, maybe like a little pop and then a drop as time goes on. But for the medium term, I am bullish. I think Tesla's going to go up to the 240 plus area. 250 is coming as well. It just needs a little bit more time. I hope that's as clear as possible. And I think that this is another blessing in disguise because Tesla has another buying opportunity that's coming very soon. All right, so that's it for this one. Thank you all so much for listening. And don't forget to pay attention to the options chain for SPY. The market makers are known for manipulating these stocks, and this was pure manipulation at its finest, this massive short squeeze we got. And excuse me, sorry guys. Looking at SPY, I just wanted to mention that because it's pumping so hard, because it's just continuing to go and go and go, it just shows how much this thing can move in such a short period of time. And that tells me that, look, it might pull back for the short term. Yes, it could, right? We get a little pop and drop. But for the more medium term, going into December and etc., this thing could continue to break out and approach some very high levels that people were not expecting. People were expecting the market to sink. The crash was coming. We saw peak fear. And I would not rule out the possibility of us retesting these highs by December. I think there's still a lot more room to go. I think that the market's just getting started. All right. So that's my view. I think Tesla has more upside too, of course, and we'll be watching to see the Cybertruck event. We're getting closer to it in the next 3.5 weeks, and all of this could continue to help Tesla and the market squeeze. All right, so that's it for now. Have an absolutely spectacular weekend. I'll see you guys in the later video for one final video update for today. I'm going to make it very simple and short, and I'm going to be talking more about Tesla's medium term in my second video for Saturday. And that's pretty much it for now. And I'll be back for almost every day for the weekend. All right. So thank you for listening. Have a great day. Remain calm, cool, and collected. And once again, guys, I'll see you guys very, very soon. Thank you and peace out.